I ain't gonna be here long. Shout out to Force. It's hard, but is it fair? You know, right now there's a lot of situations going on in the community. You know, people are going without. There's situations to where, you know, people losing their jobs. Um, you know, it's a mental part has, a lot to do with it. Overcoming certain things that, it's beyond you. You know, nobody expects, you know, tragedy and hardship to come. I just had a friend today, well, Saturday, um, we was having a conversation and got off the phone with him. 10 minutes later, he got a call his aunt passed. You know, and I was going to meet him, and he decided to do it at a later date because of that situation. Then you have the situation with yourself to where issues pan out to where you have issues with yourself, health related. You've been taken for granted all these years, and now it's come back to hunt you. Needless to say, you're not working in the best of health. You're probably not even working at all. And for those who are working, you know, it's probably not enough, or to a degree, it is enough money, but you're overspending. You know, the budget. Most people, try to live more lavish than others to prove something to someone. In the end, you're not proving nothing to no one if you're driving a nice Mercedes and you can barely get a tire change. You know, a maintenance something go wrong simply as changing a light bulb. You don't have $200 to get a light bulb. You know, to where budgeting is the biggest key. A lot of people don't understand. Shout out to the Brother Love show. He had a 10-minute eviction to where this guy was getting put out on the street, disabled, a lot of medical issues, and to an extent, say he don't have nowhere to go, you know. And to a degree, this plays a big part dealing with family. You know, sometimes you might have those issues to where you can't count on family, you can't count on friends because they're not going to be there for you. And another angle to that is you have family and friends in which you have done them so wrong to an extent to where what really happens, you know, you can't go to them, you know, you cross so many people to climb to the top. And once you've made it, that's the whole expression at the top is lonely. Nobody's there up there with you. If you're not married, you don't have a significant other, you know, to a degree, that top is going to be lonely. Even the people who are married, the top is still lonely because, depending on how you treat your wife or the woman treats her husband, the top is lonely. And, it poses a problem to who are you going to deal with when issues like this happen. You know, this guy falls on hard time. Who's there for him? He says he literally has no one. I might go back and edit and post a video so you can go over there and look at his video and, have your thoughts about it. But it comes to a degree, you literally have no one that you can reach out to stay with, you know. And a lot of people, we burn our bridges and to an extent start forgetting about all the people that helped us out, did things for us, even with mothers, we having this whole deal. Spike, if you were young and your mom did you wrong, that was a situation that she was in at that time. If your mom had better, she could do better. Same with dads. Dads are in, a particular time and day to where they get hit for almost everything. You know, there's not one thing far as men being deadbeats because we pay child support but don't spend time with our kids. Then if we spend time with our kids, we're not paying child support, we're still considered deadbeats. You know, to an extent, there's so many things that follow the men in which, you know, we have the conversations, but in the end, that's just it. It ends at that conversation. So those spike things that go on right now at this day and time, doing the C-19 and just people having health risks. You know, there's people. It's not just saying to be nice to have somewhere to stay, but it's in general work with people. We just seen a guy had a mental breakdown. And the situation happened with him and his family. A lot of people don't understand, like the repercussions behind things until it happens. You know, mental health plays a big part in stuff. And when people are pushing you over the edge, it's not right. You know, I can go in from the man's side, I can go in from that woman's side. But in the end, you know, holding yourself accountable is the key. And a lot of people aren't doing that. That's why I shout out the Gold Professor all the time because to a degree, those 9 laws of self-govern, it makes you hold yourself accountable. That's why I'm always on the show, you know, getting some understanding about the 9 laws. You know, shout out to Underrated that's in the chat. You know, he has his men talk. So sometimes men just need to get it out, some way to talk about things. No one's there when it comes down to it. Majority of the time, that's why Michael Basin made a perfect book, That Men Cry in the Dark. Because majority of times you have no one to talk to. The mindset of your friends that you're around, there are certain things you can't tell them because they're gonna look at you funny. You know, they're not gonna understand because we're all raised to be tough, including women. To a degree, if a father don't have a son, one of his daughters, 9 times out of 10, either she's gonna take on that masculine role or he's gonna provide that lane for her to be tougher than all the other daughters. One of my cousins, older she is now, she won't even touch a tire to try to change a tire or do any handiwork. She'll pay for it. But her sister, she'll go and get her hands dirty. She know how to change the tire. Her dad taught her how to change the tire as well as her older sister, but she never took on that responsibility. She always came with the extent saying, I'm a lady and I shouldn't do it. Her sister had that notion of, I need to learn just in case no one's around. That doesn't take anything feminine away from her because she's married, but she knows the responsibility in which when things come up, if she's forced to handle it, she'll handle it. And needless to say, when it comes down to it, a lot of people got to understand focusing on your health is the key. You know, have an understanding what you're dealing with because right now in this time, we all we got. You know, to a degree, I was listening to DC on Art Nostal's panel. Art Nostal TV, check his channel out as well. You know, I like name dropping on my channel. And to an extent, it was crazy that DC was saying back in the day, it wasn't a thing. It was nothing for a person to call and just check on you, see how you doing. My grandma does it all the time. You know, my older brother, he is, let's see, 40, 48, because he's 9 years older than me. So he's 48. My older brother always called me and say, phone check. Just checking on you, call it, phone check. He grew up around my uncle and all those older cats. You know, I'm trying to implement that into my life right now. You know, calling my brothers, calling my friends, checking on them, you know, trying to get them to understand, man, you okay? You mentally? Had one of my close friends, he had a mental breakdown at one point. Don't you know, I literally talk to this guy every day. And one lady, you know, she was like, why do you always talk to him? Y'all got something going on or something? You know, but she didn't know that this guy was almost to the edge. You know, not saying he probably would have did something to himself, who knows? But mentally he shut down and I seen it in him. Even after he got over that hump, I would still call him every now and then, you know, talk junk, talk business. But the main thing was checking on him, you know, like, you know, to an extent, he was more like my brother than my friend. So if a situation happened, I didn't want that on my head that I wasn't there, that I couldn't do nothing to help him out. You know, when you become a true friend to somebody, that's something that's a bond you can't, you know, take from them. You know, to an extent, when it really comes down to it, it's like a major issue to not be there for someone you call your friend. You know, and to an extent, even if it's, you know, fake, if they were fake and you stayed true to your word, that's what mostly counts. You know, friends come in your life in and out. You know, you have, you know, issues, you know, fake friends, all that. But as long as you stay true to yourself and know what you're doing, just stay positive. That's your balance. Whatever they're doing, I always say this: what's in the dark must come to the light. You know. And shout out to Miss Cajun. You know, she had talked about her friend that she had for years, and you know, she just turned. She didn't know that the lady had these feelings about her, getting married, her husband, and moving on. And you know, the hate comes around like that. You know, if you doing good and a person's not, you could be in friend with them for 20, 50 years. They want that life. And if they can't have that life, they're hoping to break up your life so misery loves company. But to an extent, man, it's just crazy, man. You know. So like I said, of all things, man, I focus on the money. You know, that's why I always talk about knowledge of self, to focus on the money to get you health. I mean, let it be known. If you're not going to get married, you're not going to be in a relationship, who's going to take care of you when you get older? You're going to have money for that. You know, there are plans set up that you can pay monthly. So when you get older, you can have nurses come take care of you. Your medicine can be paid for. Because Medicare and Medicaid, they only pay so much. You know, even with 401k, no IRAs, you're putting the money in, but they can also take money out. You know, it goes off the market. So, I always promote life insurance, pretty much whole life. I advise all older people to get term. It's a better option for you because you're not living for the money, you're leaving the money. Now, whole life, you're living for the money because if anything do happen, it's a savings fund. You can borrow money out of your, life insurance and put it back in. You're giving yourself an interest rate. You're helping yourself. You're essentially becoming the bank. Shout out to Alonzo Hall, another great channel. You know, Me and Alonzo, talk. I I'm actually a customer of one of his. You know, and a lot of I just shouted you out earlier, man. Well, Sunco, I'm at a stop sign. Well, at a red light, but I shouted out to a 10-minute eviction, and this what brought this conversation right here. A lot of people don't really know what tomorrow's gonna hold for them because they're not prepared for it. You know, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, man. And I always talk about that rapper, Rocco. He got a song, "Proper Preparation Make Piss Poor Performance." If you don't have the proper preparation, it's just a piss poor performance. You know, you got to give it your all. And basically, what I was saying about that video, to an extent, what's gonna happen when you get put out and you have no one to go to? You don't have no family you can depend on, no friends, nobody. So it's like it's a burden for you to call someone or even be. There's not one friend I have that a situation pops off, I can't do the best. Even if I'm in a small shack and I got money, I at least put them in a hotel or something. You know, to an extent, man, you just sleep on the sofa till you get yourself together. You know, something. A helping hand. If you burn so many bridges with people, man, this is the real fact. You have no one to go to. You have no one to count on. You know, let alone you haven't budgeted your money right. You know, and this what goes into a lot about buying all this nice stuff now. To an extent, like I'm gonna do Christmas with my kids, but I've already explained to them you're not getting as much as you've got previous years. You know, I don't know what the future's gonna hold. And plus, to an extent, I never really spend hella money. I have a budget like at least under 800 or less sometime that I spend on my kids. My older kids, they mostly got games and stuff. Theirs was dropped. And that's not per child, that's all together. My wife, she get a little more, because jewelry do cost. But other than that, you know, it's just what it is. Shout out Alonzo in the building. Everybody go in the chat and oh, this is another feature I just found out. If you hit someone's name to report them or block them or whatever, they have a go to your channel, and I'm gonna actually put that on my video, make a video about that. That if you hit someone's name in the chat, you can actually go to their channel and sub to them, and that's a good feature because trying to find certain people with names that are alike, one love, that's a common term. If I type one love in the YouTube search, I'll probably show all the videos and then go over to the channels. Probably have like 13 to 100 channels of one love. So that's a good thing to, have to where you can search people's channels out, you know. Well, I missed one. Yeah, it's a good thing so you can search people's channels out, man, because, the support is real, man. Just going to people's channels, supporting, to an extent. If I don't like the conversation, I'm not just gonna unsub. You know, there's a lot of channels I have. I mean, once I'm sub to you, I'm sub. I'm not gonna unsub just because I don't like your, the direction that you're going in. But to a degree, you know, being there for people, man, it's a key thing. Yeah, I was dropping on a couple of people just coming in. You know, shout out to them. When it comes down to it, man, actually Gold P Zone, so I'm actually gonna go over there, man. But when it come down to it, shout out. Hey Doug, if you can drop Gold Professor's link in the chat. Appreciate it, man. Hey, Doug number one, man. But the crazy part about a lot of people, man, you gotta have an understanding who you're dealing with, man. It's rough out here to a degree. A lot of people not understanding, we all we got. Checking on people, working with people, having getting people to have an understanding who they are. And the crazy part about it today is, you know, health talk. Yeah. So today is actually health talk over here on Gold Professor's channel. So I'm dropping a link right now in the chat. Okay, you already did it. Yeah, but it's the link to his video he has right now. So I'm about to actually end this, so I got to get my therapy over there as well. So everyone, this is she. We here and we gone. Give everybody about a couple of minutes to kind of hit that link or whatever to shout out Gold P. And like I said, man, this is a big thing. And the funny part is me doing this on Thursday when he does his health talk. And that's what I say. A lot of people don't want to hold themselves accountable for their actions, man. You know, that's a big thing to actually hold yourself accountable. Look in the mirror. Do you really like yourself? Could you be friends with yourself? If you had that image of you, could you be friends with yourself? All right. So shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Like I say once again, I dropped Gold P's link. I'm about to get ready to cut out of here. But till next time, man, you know, be the key, man. Think about yourself. In the 9 laws of self-government, rule number 3, applied selfishness. Sometimes if you don't think about yourself, no one will. Shout out to Gold Professor for having those 9 laws of self-government. Check yourself out. So we here once again, and we gone.